Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I would like to talk about the current climate of our planet right now. And I don't exactly mean the environment climate, I mean the human climate. Right now, a lot of us are being faced with a choice and a decision that is causing a lot of divisiveness amongst us. And I really truly feel that this is a lesson that we are supposed to learn, that we are supposed to learn to come together and to unite, even when we have differences of opinions or differences of what we should be doing with our bodies. And what I want us to be aware of as light workers, as spiritual people, is that we must not get caught up in our ego. And I find it happening to myself a lot. And the ego is very, very sneaky. So, you think you're doing all the inner work and you're tuning in and you've come to a decision that is right for you. And now you're dogmatic about this decision. This is the right decision. This is what should be done. This is how it should be handled. That dogmaticness is ego. So, always remember that we are all one and everything is happening for a reason. And the other thing that I am coming to learn over and over is life is very gray. It is not black and white. And that black and white tends to divide because it says choose a side, and that is the side that you need to be on. And that is the side that you need to convince everyone else to be on. Well, here's the thing. There's like 8 billion people in the world with 8 billion different opinions. So how could life be anything but gray? Different people coming from different perspectives, different, just different ideas, different education. It doesn't mean that just because someone is uneducated doesn't mean that their opinion is any less than yours. It just means that it is different. They are coming from their own perspective and not your perspective. And this dogmaticness can be, if you don't watch, it can destroy you. And let me give you an example. So we are the creators of our reality. Have you ever found that if you reflect upon something that you maybe in the past were very dogmatic about, that you no longer are anymore, you saw a different way, or something was shown to you, or life taught you that lesson that made you not be dogmatic about that anymore? I'm trying to think of a personal example. Oh, okay. Here's a great one. Before I started my spiritual awakening journey, I was in support of capital punishment. Very much felt like an eye for an eye. If you take someone's life, then you deserve to have your life taken. And that, and I felt very strongly of that. It's like, how can someone hurt someone else and take someone else's life and not have that punishment inflicted on them? Very dogmatic about that. I no longer feel that way. I feel that people should be rehabilitated. I feel that hurt people hurt people. I feel that what is happening, putting people down is just not okay, because we are not meant to be the judges of them. We are not meant to condemn them and sentence them to death. Who are we? We are no one. And at the end of the day, we are all one. So if you had been born into that incarnation that made someone go and take a life, would you not want that mercy? Would you not want that forgiveness? Would you not want that second chance to rehabilitate yourself and to live a different life? I think most of us would answer yes. So that is a personal example of something that I used to feel extremely dogmatic about. And then once my eyes were opened, it was like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't be putting people down. Maybe we should be helping them. You know, and that is just an example of one of the many things in my life that I felt very strongly about that I no longer feel strongly about anymore. So, what is going on right now in our current social climate is that if you're watching this at a later date, this is being filmed in August 2021. There's a hot topic right now, and a lot of people are becoming dogmatic. And the one thing that I want to say, and I feel it applies to both sides, is that stop looking to one thing to be your savior. Like I said, life is very gray. It is not black and white. Therefore, there is not one clear, concise answer to anything. Well, and if you ask me, love. But, you know, that can be interpreted in many different ways. But there is no savior. There is no one savior that you're putting all of your eggs into that basket. Because what happens when that basket springs a leak and your eggs start to fall out? Now you're like, oh my God, all of my eggs were in this basket. This was the savior, but now it's not the savior. What do I do now? I think that that is perfect, because I think that that might be a lesson, and it might be the squeeze that a lot of people need to awaken to understand that there is no one savior. The savior comes from within. Jesus lives within you. God lives within you. So when you are looking for an answer, go within. When you are looking to be saved, go within. Listen to your body. What is the answer? There is no one answer. It is not do this or don't do this. And it's not, well, I'm not going to do this because this is who I am and this is my right. And, it is okay to take a stand. And I think a lot of us understand that it is our time to take a stand. And taking a stand is one thing. However, in the way that you take that stand, you need to be taking that stand in love. Do not take that stand in being dogmatic and wanting to be right and knowing that you are right. Don't take that stand in ego. Take that stand in love, which means taking that stand differently. It means acting differently, speaking differently. Because if you just go and take the polar opposite side of someone and you act just as they are acting, but just on the other side, are you not the same as them? We live in a life of duality. Is that not the same? Is it not the same? Think about that. Reflect on your actions. Reflect on how you've been acting. Reflect on how you've been talking about this. And ask yourself, really get deep. Wow, am I just taking the same stance as the opposing side right on the other side? Remember, we are in a spiritual warfare. Okay, so there are sides, I guess. Not really. There is really only one side. It's God. It's love. Okay? And that needs to stay in the forefront of our minds. That is the warfare. That is the warfare. Because the darker energy doesn't care which side you take. They care about how you act on that side. Are you able to remember the truth, the oneness of this world, of everything? Are you able to remember the love? Are you able to remember the compassion that we need to be showing each other in this world right now? It's never been more important to be compassionate and kind. It has never been more important. Though that is the warfare that we're in, are you able to maintain that light? Are you able to maintain the character, those standards that you hold yourself to? And that doesn't mean that you can't have an opinion. It doesn't mean that you can't have a stand. But I beg you to take that stand in love. Okay? And you don't have to it's not our job to really convince other people to come to our side. I encourage you to have conversations with people and to share your side. Have those conversations, because those conversations are so important. However, you know what's not productive is an argument. And I have a motto that I live by a lot. And it is, never argue with stupid, because from afar they can't tell who is who. So when you argue with someone, it means not that anybody's stupid, but it just means that when you argue with someone, this is someone who wants to argue with you, their energy's crazy, and you choose not to have a conversation, you choose to argue. Who started this? Who's crazy? Who has the crazy energy right now? You can't fucking tell, okay? So, someone's crazy, you don't have to engage. All you have to, and if it's a friend or a family that you want to engage with, just be honest. I would love to have a conversation with you. I don't want to argue. Let's have a conversation. I would love to tell you where I'm coming from, and I would love to hear where you're coming from. Because remember, always remember what Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. A lot of people are acting out of their minds right now and not out of their hearts, okay? Because they have been duped. They have, the veil has been pulled, the wool has been pulled so far over their eyes that they are not seeing clearly. And if you are one of the lucky ones that are able to see clearly right now, you will understand that this solution, this savior, is not the only savior, but it may play a part. It doesn't mean that it's totally evil and no one should be doing this. Don't get dogmatic in that way, because remember the placebo effect, that even if this savior was sugar water, it was a complete placebo. Remember, our minds are so much more powerful than any man-made drug, okay? So the belief that this is going to help you, that this is going to keep you safe, that is valuable to them. That is valuable to anyone who has that belief in it. So if that is something that is going to put your mind at ease, then go for it. It's an individual choice. So as an individual, if you will feel safer taking this savior, then okay, do it. Do it. If that is what your gut is telling you to do, do it. So that is the issue, is that there is no blanket answer for either side. It is individual. 8 million people on the earth. 8 million or billion, whatever. Individuals. How beautiful is that? We are all individuals. We are all unique. We are all living different human experiences. So to have a blanket answer for either side, if you really think about it, is pretty ridiculous. How could there be one answer for everyone? And then you're like, Anne, well, you say that, the truth is the answer and the oneness in the answer is the answer. And yes, but the roots to that oneness, not the roots, the routes to that oneness are all different. And it looks different. That oneness, that connection looks different for everyone, feels different for everyone, applies to every single person differently. And that's the difference, is that, there isn't just one way out of this time. There are multiple ways out of this time. And that's what we need to continue to be fighting for. That is the stand we need to take. But remember, we're standing in love. We are standing in light. And One thing that I have been reminding myself, and this has a little bit of ego in it, of course, but I think it really puts things into perspective, as an awakened person, as a spiritual person, you are in essence the bigger person. You have to start acting that way. Don't get caught up. Continue acting in your authentic way. And that doesn't mean you can't stand up for yourself. That doesn't mean you can't share your opinions. Doesn't mean any of that. But it does mean that you do it in love. It does mean that you do it in compassion. It does mean that you remember that in this instance, in essence, you are the bigger person, okay? You are awakened. This is our job. This is our mission. This is why we are here as awakened people. We need to come in with that understanding, kindness, and compassion for our fellow human beings, regardless of how they act, okay? Because how they act is on them. That is their universe, their creation. That is them, okay? You stay in your lane, worry about yourself, okay? And how you are acting, okay? Always go back to your oneness. Always go within. Always go to the Christ within you, okay? Because Jesus said, I live inside every single one of you, and he does, okay? Let's bring him out. Let's allow him to be stronger. Let's expand that light. Because remember, Anna, we don't have to be out there pounding the pavement, talking to millions of people, talking to all these people. Our own inner work and sharing our light and bursting that light from inside of our hearts, that is also part of our work. So that is our message for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anne, and I hope to see you next time.